Juicy,
Let's do
juicy,
it.
juicy. All right, guys, we are live. Welcome, 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 everyone. We had a little bit of technical difficulties that we had to work through, but we are ready to rock. We have here Cheikh Sufi, and we have our sister Gianita. We're expecting an additional guest or two, so if they're able to connect, hopefully no technical difficulties. We'll continue to add them in as they arrive. Yes,
Yes.
yes. Oh, what happened? Sheikh Sufi already gone?
I have I
He's
have
gonna.
I invited some folks. I had a sister. I had just arbitrarily met her at the bodega. And I invited her this morning because our conversation when I gave her a ride to her place, she was so intrigued with me, and I gave her an invitation, but she was like, "Oh, maybe I'll do it next time." I thought, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So I
Anyway.
just want to show everyone. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the book that we will be discussing that was written by Sheikh Sufi, and I have pages, sloppy pages of notes to ask questions. So all of the women, we came together and we read this book, and this book is
Okay.
it's very educational. It actually you dropped a lot of gems in here, and I really enjoyed reading it. I really enjoyed.
Magnificent.
You even
Magnificent.
had some poetry in here.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really write poetry. I don't write poetry, but poetry just comes through.
Oh, because that's
Like
always
I'll get a download of almost a whole poem, and it'll stay with me for a couple of days, and it's like put me on paper, put me on paper. Then I write it. I never sit down and say I'm gonna write some poetry.
That's the
Never.
way
really.
my creativity is. That's the way my poetry is. If something keeps coming and then I'll put it down and then I'll expand on it after I write
Yeah,
it down.
that's exactly how I do it. I never have.
Well, I need to get like y'all and get with my poetry because I don't write poetry. So, and I haven't really tried, but I'll expand on it.
You're looking all festive. Oh my goodness. I love those colors. Those are my
Thank
I
you.
love I
Check.
love bright colors. That's why I got to stay out of the stores sometimes during the holiday. I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's so interesting. I'm going over there. Oh, that's so nice. I'm going over here.
I wanted to be colorful today because you see the color of the book is colorful, so I wanted to be colorful.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes.
All right. So, Janita, do you want to start with any comments or questions? Because I got a list here, girl. But you can start if you want.
So some various things as I was traveling. First of all, I had my years of being a student in the Nation of Islam for 30 or most of my adult life. I don't practice anymore. But I originally, when I was exiting my practice under the tutelage of the Nation of Islam, I wanted to go back to Islam at the very beginning. And so I remember coming across the matriarchal creativity of Islam, but I didn't have anybody to talk to. And so I was like, there's nobody to talk to. So I put it down. And so when I watched your video one time, I just had an aha moment. And so I've been
Oh,
developing and sucking. I was like, I didn't have a name for it, but there it is. It exists. It's called Sufi. And so as I was, there's a lot of things in there, but when you Google Sufi, there's not a lot for women. That's the one thing that makes you a little bit different than some of the other writers that you come across in reference to Sufi or Sufism, unless it's Caucasian women. And then there was an academic, I bailed out of it. I couldn't take it. I don't know if it was a sacred plant or not. I
yeah,
just bailed out
yeah.
of what she was talking
So
about. And
what
she was very,
exactly do you want to clarify exactly what is a Sufi?
so for me, my feelings about Sufi is that, first of all, it's the original conception of Islam. That's for me. And then the
Yeah.
second, I likened it to Kabbalah in Judaism, where there's a section of magic and manifestation of Islam, but they don't connect it together because they separate it in the tenets of Islam, like the prayers, the prophet, and things of that nature. But in Kabbalah as well as in Sufi, it connects the magical alchemies
Yes.
and esoteric lifestyle of Islam. It takes it and puts it in a very, I won't say colorful, but for me, more meaningful because I'm a spiritual person. So although I do my 5 prayers and my chants, and it connects it also to other ways of life, because I don't like to use religion, that word religion. I like to express it as the different expressions of the way of life.
Right.
As we're taught in the Nation of Islam, that Islam was given to us as a religion, but it's actually a way of life.
Way of
And
life.
so, based on Sufi, it's based on love and your connection, your loving connection to Allah. And when we study in Islam and use the Quran and other avenues and prayers, we're just kind of like, we're almost like robots. You know what I mean? We're like doing these things, but it doesn't connect us truly to the love and the expression of love of Allah, because sometimes in the patriarchal ideas in the Quran, it's very kind of like punishing, and there's a lot of things that you have to walk around as being women.
Mm.
I've never said that Islam was not for women. I've always said that the way that Islam is given to women is patriarchal and it's man's idea of women, but
But you
that's
know,
not women's role.
this book
Hmm.
focuses more on the feminine aspect and
Yeah.
like the aspect of love. That's one of the reasons why I was able to really enjoy this book. Like, there were things in here where it said only God can make love to God, and I was like, when I that was in the beginning
Yes.
of the book, and I was like, wait a minute, only, and I'm trying
Mhm.
to visualize exactly what does that mean. Only God can make love to God. And
That's
so,
the true tantra. That is the true tantra. That is the
Yeah.
true tantra. When you look at the tantric scriptures in Hinduism and Buddhism, these scriptures are from deities. Shiva and Shakti are deities engaged in sexual worship.
oh,
Mhm.
But in the West, we didn't get that part. In the West, we thought Tantra was just making our sex life better. But Tantra is actually God worshiping God through sexual intercourse. It's one of the highest forms of worshiping the divine when you see your partner as a divine being. So that's why we
Yeah.
say only God can make love to God. I have to be a divine being, and my partner has to be at a state of divinity. So when we engage in the act, it manifests divinity.
oh, wow. Thank you for
It's a
clarifying.
totally different paradigm for Tantra that you don't
It
see in
is.
the West.
It is.
So
Wow.
let me ask you this, Cheikh Sufi. So in you're saying that I had was looking over my life and various times, and you asked a question in one of the books, one of the section of the book, and it kind of stayed with me. Is how do you feel about women, feminine energy? And then the other one was, I believe, how you felt about your partner. But what I was thinking was my expression of my sexual being. I've only been able to, in my mind, connect to someone who may have not been in a God level, but I was
Mm,
able to open my own self up to be able to receive and to give. So when I was, what I always say, my best sexual partner that I've had my whole entire life, that's probably why I couldn't get rid of him because I was so connected in that
Okay, like,
way.
wait a minute, I need this. Wait a minute.
Yes, yes. But one of the things was at that time in my life, I decided that I wanted to feel I always knew that there was this spiritual connection of two souls. I called it two souls kissing. And so I wanted to kiss another heart. So with this person that also allowed me that space to just freely open up. And I remember how intoxicating it was. First of all, it was so intoxicating, but I
Hmm.
could actually feel the connection to that other person. And when I was done, it was the first time that I had tears, and I was embarrassed because I was crying afterwards. And he was just so very, kind. And he was just like, "That's so beautiful. Why are you being so
Yeah.
weird like that?" And I had never, although I had thought about it, I had knew that it existed. But to really, that's a very sacred, and also sometimes for Black women, an unsafe waters, because you are really opening yourself up. And that's what I got from the video that I sent to you, Sister Bliss, about Sister Adara, and it was you, and it was Uncle Hank, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's other people that think like that.
Yes.
And to be in a safe, to be somewhere safe, to be able to be that way with someone, and not just be on the physical, because I've noticed throughout my life I've been on the physical, but I've only been able to experience that orgasmic bliss once in my life.
Cheikh Sufi.
Wait
Once.
till
Yeah.
wait till you experience it with a God man.
Ah,
Wait till you
that
experience it. Wait till you experience it with a partner that sees you as God.
Wow.
yeah,
Then it's a source for enlightenment and
yeah.
reaching the state of divinity of Shiva and Shakti through two divine consorts engaging with breathing techniques, pranayama, also reciting prayers during the act, and reciting mantras and chants at the time of orgasm specifically for realization.
Ah,
Woo. Girl.
I'm telling you, I just was like, because I afterwards, after being with this person, my idea was that I was a consumer, and so I was just like, I always used to say
A
about love is
consumer.
I consume the person, and I had to get out of that. I was like, you can't be out here just consuming energies, and and
Uh-huh.
now I'm very protective of it. But that was one thing, and it was for him too, because we finally were able to, by me being in Mexico and him being in the United States, was able to break that probably trauma bond, because I studied it myself, and all of my major relationships were trauma bonding. And
Mm.
Wow. And it's time for
I gave
healing.
exactly. And so when I did that, then I had another awakening of sadness, but realization that I didn't really know what love was. I really didn't have an idea, and I haven't tapped into it. And now, as I'm evolving with Tantra, I want to make sure that I don't have the Walt Disney version of love when I'm meeting someone. You know what I
Right.
mean? That
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
Because
dynamic.
we all grew up with that Walt Disney Cinderella effect that we expect to be in our relationship, but that's misleading us and it's misguiding us.
Yeah,
So we got to kind of pull our children, our daughters, and some of our
yeah,
sons away from those idealistic ways and pull them more into the way of true tantra. But I wanted to just clarify, Cheikh Sufi, in your book, you mentioned white tantra and red tantra. So I just wanted to
Yes.
clarify, like, could you explain the difference between the two? Because one is right hand, which is white tantra, and the other one is the left hand, which is red tantra. So just so people
Okay.
are not
Okay.
confused.
So the right-handed white tantra is the tantric philosophy, the philosophy of the union of yin and yang principles inside of the practitioners of tantra that revolve around a lot of times eye gazing, merging of energies without the sensual touch. So the right-handed white tantra is the philosophy of tantra and reaching a state of divine consciousness through meditational practices, breathing techniques, and mantra with a partner as a divine being. And then the red-handed, left-hand Tantra is the same philosophy of Tantra, but with a sexual partner to actually engage in the act of Tantra after you both know that you are God.
Nice. Thank you for
So what happens is you have a lot of people in the West engaging in the red left-handed Tantra without the concept of being a deity.
Yes.
So it's a watered down form. If you look at the medicine Buddha is in a statue with his sexual partner. Shiva and Shakti have statues of them in sexual union. So that part is what's missing in the West, that it is God making love with God. And from that, you only produce God realization.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I do have another question. You mentioned that we have to lose our egos and go into oneness. So everyone has an ego. Some egos are bigger than others. So for someone to be able to lose or to play down their ego, that's for some people, especially I would say for a lot of men, it's very difficult to lose that ego and to be in oneness. So are you saying like the breath exercises, meditate, what's going to help some of these brothers to, clear that ego out?
In the tantric practices, the brother has to say, this is for the cultivation of the divine feminine energy. Tantra was originally for the man not to ejaculate.
What?
And for the women to have multiple orgasms. So the man has to get out of his ego and say, I'm worshiping her. Not that she's worshiping me. And when you get out of your ego and you are an act of divine service, worshiping the divine feminine, that's going to take the man to a God state because his ego is gone, and the woman will experience extreme bliss from her cultivation of the divine feminine.
Wow. Ooh, y'all hear that, brother? Y'all got to work on their ego.
Yeah, brothers just say, I'm doing this so I can get off. Where did you get that idea? Not in Tantra.
I remember the long time ago, the temples, the goddess temples in various places, that the men would come with gifts to be able to sit and spend time with the goddess. And remember in the they kind of downplayed it, but in the movie 300, when he had to climb and get to the goddess, they made her be kind of, attractive, not attractive. But that's why every man, and if you look at history, has gone to the goddess temple for guidance and also to be able, and 300 was one of my indications of that, of one of the temples. And various movies in Greek philosophy, it showed the feminine principle of how important it was before making any major decisions to seek the guidance and wisdom from the goddess temple.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And I'm glad you were able to reflect that to the movie, because a lot of people, they lack the ability to really understand what we're talking about. But when you put that in the movie and you go back and you look, you see all these examples of what they're doing, although they're not.
Yes.
Those examples are there expressed. So
they made her be all trinkety and not really attractive, and
we knew they were doing.
That's not the case.
So I also want to ask you, so you were saying that we operate from our root chakra, our sacral chakra, and our solar plexus chakra. But when people operate from the heart chakra, that makes it easier. But from what I'm doing in my practice, I'm realizing that a lot of people, their hearts are closed or shattered or it's locked, and they struggle with opening their heart for fear of their heart being broken. So how do you, what any suggestions?
I think that in order Tantra is not a weekend. People say, "Oh, I'm going for a tantric weekend." No, you just went and had some good sex.
I'm going to a retreat.
I'm going to a tantra retreat for 3 days. No, you just got some good head. You didn't really do tantra. Tantra is a long-lasting practice for the two partners to reach divinity through the sexual act. Not just we met at a tantric weekend, had orgasms, and went home.
Thank you.
You have to have a partner, and it involves a journey of study. And if people are having tantric sex without chanting, what are you really doing? You don't have any mantra in your practice. It's so watered down. In Tibetan Buddhism, they have something called the highest yoga tantric that they only give to the high lamas. The highest yoga tantra, you can't even find it online. It's for Buddhist monks who've been in the temple for years to practice. It's not something you just go pay $9.95 and do some tantra on the weekend. What kind of bullshit is that? You're just eating some pussy. Excuse my language.
Janita, now you know where you need to go to find your highest spiritual
Yes, I was as he was talking. I've been in such a drought down here. I said, but can I just? I'm just gonna go for the week and just dip my foot in the pool. I'll chant myself and just come back to Mexico.
Yeah, and you're missing the point. I mean, it's Tantra is not for a weekend retreat or an 8-week class. It's a lifelong journey.
Thank you.
Where the two people are seeking divine realize. I don't want to say, but I've had some tantric practices where lights started flashing in the room.
What?
We were actually up in the heavenly state.
That's beautiful.
It's affecting the electricity or the currency.
Yes, exactly. But that came from cultivation of practice after. Now the practicing is fun. I have to say that, but you have to practice and cultivate that till you get to that state where you're experiencing divinity, and the man is not ejaculating, and the woman is having multiple ejaculations. What they don't remember, what's missing is. Why do you think people say I'm coming? I'm just being point. Why is it called I'm coming?
I don't know why.
Trying to get there.
Whatever you are thinking about at the time of orgasm will come.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why.
This is getting into sex magic. Sex magic. You can use the orgasm to produce more money. You can produce the orgasm to produce more record sales. You can produce the orgasm to produce whatever you're thinking about when you're coming, that's going to come. This is sex magic. We're not on that today. So,
show it again.
When you have the orgasm in this form, you call the name of the divine.
So, that's my next read. That's my next read. I said that was my next read. It's called Magia Sexualist, Sexual Practices and Magical Power.
Yeah, let me tell you, I practice sex magic and it works. It's very easy. The techniques are easy. But when you have an orgasm in Tantra, you say the name of Allah or the name of Shiva or Shakti. You call the name of the divine that you're worshiping so that that being will come to you and inhabit your physical being.
Oh, wow.
Because you want that enlightened state to come at the time of orgasm.
Got you.
And this is what's missing in most of the tantric schools.
How do you harness it? So when you invoke that energy, how do you harness it, if you will? That's my word.
Girlfriend, imagine the energy of Allah going through every cell of your body.
Woo! Oh, that's like a full body orgasm.
It's a full body orgasm now. From head to toe, you are in the state of divinity because you call the name of the divine at the time of orgasm.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
I've had
okay.
that. It was a waste because I didn't know I could manifest. So
Look,
Yes,
look,
yes, yes.
we were just saying, oh God, oh God, oh God, but we wasn't really.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, now look at that. A lot of women say, "Oh my God, They already, it's in their subconscious mind, but they just don't know to focus on the divine at that time. And
wow.
you know what people are missing is, you know how sex and God are one and the same. Every
Mm-hmm.
human being knows that life comes from God. Every human being knows that only God can produce a baby. So if the sexual act is an act that produces a child, it must be close to divinity.
Mm.
It's an aspect of the divine, but we use it as watered down recreation or just having fun. But in ancient times, sex was an act of worship. It's the highest act of worship. And
Wow.
this is what we call Tantra, when now your worship, your sexual relationship is an act of worshiping God.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. So I have another thing that you said in your book. You said the heart is the meeting place of two worlds, windows, two spirit worlds. An unclear heart blocks spirit messages. So the spirit messages come through when you're practicing Tantra, when you're having intercourse. But if the heart
Yes.
is blocked, then you're saying they wouldn't receive the divinity, that they wouldn't go into the highest.
No. That's why they have to do the chanting 7 days a week, not
7
just
days?
during the. No, you're doing. You see this? What I'm doing?
Yes. Hold on.
I'm reciting prayers all day, every day.
All the beads. Yes.
Yes. So the practitioner does not just recite the mantra during the sexual act. They're reciting it as a daily practice to keep the heart clear, so that when they engage in the act, they're already in a state of clear heart.
Oh.
And
I
there
wanted to
are
add
no
on that.
blockages for that being, for divinity.
So, what do you think about? It comes to mind something that Sister Adara had said in the video that I watched last night. Is that some people have their hearts open, but then their throat chakra is closed, so they're not able to speak their true um, spiritual essence because it's blocked. So if you don't have the ability, if you're blocked by not being able to speak, so for my example, not being able to speak during some of those times that I was having sex with people, in my mind, I wanted to do other things and explore other things, but my throat chakra is like so limited that I didn't speak. Would that block my opening of my heart? And how do I make sure that both are
All, you
full?
know, for highest enlightenment, for highest realization, all the chakras need to be aligned before the act. So there are chants that you can say to open the throat chakra so that it's open before you engage in the act. Or you do some chakra aligning practices. But one thing is do you know that chanting La ilaha illallah aligns the 7 chakras and opens the 7 chakras?
Yes.
Because it has 7 syllables.
Show that again.
It has 7 syllables. La ilaha illallah. So if you're chanting La ilaha illallah over and over again throughout the week, it's aligning and opening your chakras. It's also purifying the heart, especially so that when you go into the act, you're already in a state of alignment. Now, for someone who doesn't practice, if they have a practitioner who can hold his semen long enough and recite the zikr while they're doing the act, they can open, I don't want to say, but I probably can open up somebody's chakras just by chanting during the act, or bring them into alignment. someone who knows what they're doing, they can open a woman's chakras and bring her into alignment during the act, even if she doesn't have the practice.
Yes.
And a woman that has the practice can take a man to heaven.
Yes. That's what I was about to ask you, because in these in my dating streets down here in Mexico, the chances of me coming across, I've only come across a few. I've only come across few that knew what Tantra was, and generally they were in open relationships. They did not have one. So I've been invited to more open relationships with folks that are on the Tantra, but I didn't feel safe to do it because my monkey brain was like, okay, I'm cool with you. You say you're on this level, but is your partner on this level? And then is your partner engaging on that level with other partners? And so it became too much of
it's a mind game, and mostly it's just for good sex.
Yes.
Yeah. So I said, thank you. I said, thank you very kindly. I won't be able to engage with
that. And then a lot of times they just want a taste of some chocolate. So,
yes, sir.
Just being honest.
No, it's really honest. That's the thing that I've run into, that people have actually, I just told a sister that the other day, she was shocked. The audacity here is just phenomenal, that I've met some men that have actually said that to me. Like, I have never had sex with a Black woman, and I would like to experience that. And I'm like, we can't get no coffee? As me and my cousin, as me and my cousin. Yeah, as me and my cousin.
At least they're being honest. You have to say, at least they're being honest.
Exactly.
I can appreciate the honesty. I saw a man on the side of the road in Philadelphia. A man on the side of the road had a sign that said, "Need money for beer." I gave him $1. I'm like, at least he being honest.
Yeah, because most of them are not being honest. So at least he started off the right way with you. He was like, "Look, Gianita, now I just want some of that coffee that you got right there. I want it all black.
Boy, listen,
but as a goddess, we still want a little presentation, as my cousin said. So we can't get no dinner with dick.
You just want to be chased. You want to be entertained. You want to be okay. I get it. I like the game of chase.
I want a little finesse, I said, if I get one more person that just wants to touch on me, like, oh, your skin is just so lovely. I'm like, thank you. Your hair is just so beautiful. Thank you. But I used to put that on my dating apps before I closed them down. I had 3 questions. What's the last book that you've read? Have you been to other countries? And Tantra was my 3rd question.
Well, many to interview me. Then I know to Kilimanjaro. Kewalin. Well, many to interview lady.
So those 3 questions was on my app, and it was desert for a very long time. There were some people that, if they were intrigued about those questions, they ignored the first 2. But Tantra was usually, like Cheikh said, their idea, and they did look it up, but they didn't look it up to go further. They just looked it up for the physical aspect of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people are not using Tantra for the purpose that it was designed for. And a lot of people think that they're practicing Tantra. And like Cheikh Sufi said, it sort of becomes a lifestyle for you.
Yeah.
You're practicing and you're learning to heal, because you're healing while you're doing this, and you're healing the person that you're with also. So it's like a healing practice, it's a healing journey. And if you're saying journey, this is not like a one night or a one weekend stand. So like you said, you can go on to the weekend retreats and have a good time. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, and they got the website where you can just go on there and book a tantric weekend with some tantric masseuse, and you think you becoming God. Get out of here with that.
What do you think about the green dragon, the philosophies of the green dragon? Is it close to the Kriya, Tantra, or is it a separate but together? So there was a
Okay,
book
what's
that
the
I
green
read.
dragon? I'm not aware of that. What's the green dragon?
So there was another book that I had written, and I couldn't find it for the life of me, so I don't know where it's at. So in this, the woman has they're practicing tantra in a way. However, I found out that during the in the book, some of those practitioners are in their massage therapy. So the women collect the semen as keeping them young. So there's a lot of Asian women, and I forget what the practice is called, but I remember the dragon, that to receive the dragon fire from the men. So her husband or her mate that she would only stay with for 5 years was the person that she connected to on a spiritual realm that had practiced semen retention. But on occasion, she invited, after thoroughly teaching this person, that she wouldn't have sex with them, but she was collecting their semen.
Mm.
And
Was it facial?
yeah.
Yeah,
I would love
that's a Taoist practice. A lot of Asian Taoists, women, they say if they want to keep their skin young, they apply it on their as a face mask, a real facial.
Yes, and on their yonis. So
that's a Taoist practice.
And they didn't practice insertion very often, only with their mate that they had for only 5 years. So these women never got married. And so a lot of them are in secret societies, but they said in the book, you'll find them in America in mostly massage parlors. So those Asian women
they're using that.
The happy ending, it may be a happy ending for the man, but the woman is actually just there to collect their semen.
Using that energy, yes. There's if you want to read about some of the highest tantric practices, there's a Buddhist Tibetan deity called Vajra Yogini.
Vajra, V-A-D?
V-A-J R-A, Vajra, V-A-J-R-A, Vajra, Y-O-G-I-N-I, Vajra Yogini. Okay. Anything from her is extremely high tantric practices for God realization.
Sister, can you put that in so we can visualize it with spelling?
Yes. And in the meantime, while I'm writing it in, Cheikh Sufi, you got a question here from the sister Brownie Beauty's Dream. Welcome, Brownie. Okay. There's her question. So, peace, I am grateful for this live today. Is it possible to be in a God-like state of mind, meaning Tantra, during the sexual act if you are still healing from trauma in the sacral chakra?
It is possible if you are with a partner who is already in a state of enlightenment. If you have a partner who is in a state where they are already healed, they can help bring you to a state of being healed. But if you have a partner who is damaged goods, they're not going to be able to help you reach the state of being healed.
Oh,
so wow. It depends on the state of your partner.
Okay, because you mentioned before that the partner can be in a higher state to heal the other person. So
like a woman who's in a state of enlightenment can help. Vajra Yogini would take someone into a cave, and when they came out, they would be enlightened from her sexual power in Tantra.
Woo, I want to be like that.
I'm telling you, she was taking people to enlightened states with that yoni.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. All right, so I got a question. In your book, you said sometimes men were women and women were men. Did you clarify that in past lives? I think you were saying.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Ooh, I don't want to tell all my business. I don't know how many people will see this video, so let me just give
not many.
So yes, you might be a woman in this lifetime, but the lifetime before you could have been a man.
Baby, talk about
I might be a man in this lifetime, but I'm sure I had lifetimes where I was a woman. Because as the soul travels, you don't always stay in the. You like to say, "Oh yeah, I was always a man." I know for. I don't want to say. I'll talk to you off of camera, but I.
So just to say, we were also, maybe some of us were not always Black or African American. Maybe some of us were Caucasian, and maybe some of us were.
Yes, yes. There's a movie. What's the name of that movie? I have to text you the movie. The people who made the movie The Matrix, they made another movie about a group of people who travel through time. It's one of my favorite movies. What's the name of that movie? But as they travel through time, when they come back, one time they might be a man, they come back the next life, they might be a woman, they come back the next life, they might be Black, they come back the next life, they might be white. That movie is so deep, but now I can't even think of the name of it. But it was made by the people in The Matrix, but it didn't get that type of popularity.
Wow. You see how they be dropping.
It's called Cloud Atlas. Cloud Atlas is the name of the movie.
Hold on, let me write that down. You saw that?
I have seen that. Cloud Atlas.
Cloud Atlas will turn your hair gray. It's so deep.
Yeah. I want to watch that. I just wrote it down. I'm going to watch that for sure. I want to check that out. I want to ask you about the eternal elixir that you wrote about in your book.
Okay. I was about to ask about the food consumption of how we can,
So this is a Taoist concept that the woman's ejaculate, the liquid of her orgasm, when you drink it, it's an elixir for enlightenment.
Oh, that is okay.
That's not from me. That's from Taoist practices. Ooh. So, but it can't be no woman that's eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's. No, it's got to be a high priestess of Tantra. Her yoni fluid is a fluid for enlightenment.
Wow. So the
yes.
Fluid, that explains a lot.
What did Tupac say? Tupac said, "The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice." I'm just saying.
There you go. Those berries, lady. Make sure you keep a quality diet, so all your juices and your elixir is very healing to the brothers out here.
Yes, actual facts.
No, I gotta tell you, and for the men too, because when my ex-husband, when I first met him, his and we would engage, and he was on he had fruit smoothies, and he was eating a lot of fruits and berries. His mixture was beautiful. It smelled lovely. It tastes beautiful. When he started smoking cigarettes and not really doing healthy stuff, the room, the aroma in the room changed. And as we call it, in his semen, I was just like, he was like, well, how come how come you don't? And I was just like, I can't take that into my system.
Exactly. You can just feel the toxicity in people sometimes when you're with them. With smoke, you could actually smell that on their person, and it's coming through their pores, and it's a turn off. When you're with someone who's eating right, who's drinking plenty of water, it's actually very attractive.
Yes.
One person was he was an avid smoker, and it was during my opening myself up, and I wanted to try all types of stuff, and I utilized people in my evolution in my earlier days, and I remember deciding that I wanted to ingest it because it's taboo for Black women. It's taboo, first of all, to even be down there, but it's also taboo to consume.
On what planet?
Baby, when I talked to someone, even my sister, for a long time, I had to tell her that you don't have to wait for a man to have self pleasure, because she would just get in these toxic relationships because she wanted the penis but not the man. And I remember buying her all these things that get the tools and stuff. So when I would talk about, even with my best friend, when I talk about consuming, she was like, no. I'm a goddess down there. I'm a snatch your soul, but I don't want none of your soul essence in here. And
Go ahead.
so when I would tell her that, I was like, well, I'm enjoying everything. And she was like, you go ahead down there and be all with that nasty stuff. You know what I mean? It was more, but I had one person that when I actually consumed, I felt like that I was eating cigarettes. The taste was so pungent.
That's sad.
The taste was so pungent. And that was my last time. I was just like, and I told him that. I was like, you need to probably change your diet a little bit, because I tasted nothing but cigarettes.
It's toxic. Also, we got a question here from LeBron. Thank you for answering my previous question. In the book, oh, you read the book? Yay! Shout out to the sisters who read in the book. All right. So in the book, it says, light from light that must return to the light. Learn to become empty. Would you mind explaining that further? Like, how would one become empty, and what do you mean by light, return to light?
Yeah. Light from light that must return to the light. You must become empty. We are all beings of light. We are not these physical bodies. We are a soul with a body, and that soul, being who you are, is a being of light. So your true essence is God. The true essence is Allah, and that is beyond the physical body. That is a form of light. And that light, who you are, must return to the omnipresent light of the divine. In order for you to return to divinity, you must become empty of all things other than divinity. In order to return to a divine state, you must become pure and empty of all things that are not divine. We have this teaching in the Bible where it says that God is a jealous God. But really, how can God be jealous when jealousy is a sin? So God is not a jealous God. Allah just wants your whole heart. Allah doesn't want you to have your job or your family or your bank account or money in your heart. Allah wants you to purify the heart of all other beings other than God, so that that light can return to the light unobstructed. So we have to become empty. In the Buddhist concept, it says emptiness is form and form is emptiness. Emptiness is form and form is emptiness. So the things that have form in the outer world are empty, and that which we think is empty, the unseen world, actually has form.
Wow.
So we have to do some type of prayers, mantras, or chanting to keep the heart empty of anything other than Allah, God, the divine. Wow. So that the light can return back to the light through spiritual practices. What we're missing in the West is spiritual practices. People have all this spiritual philosophy. Yeah, I'm a divine being. Yeah, I'm a goddess. Yeah, I'm an avatar. I'm God. But where is your practice of divinity?
There's none. There's none. I will tell you, a lot of people are exactly what you said. They can repeat what they saw in the books or what they learned in class, but they are not practicing what they learned. And I see them like they're all over the place. And as I get to know these people, I'm like, so are you practicing any of this stuff? Oh, I learned this and I did that. And they're like robots. They can repeat all of this stuff. And I'm like, but why aren't you healing? Why aren't you better? You know?
One of the things I do, we give initiation on the Sufi path. We give initiation into the Sufi order. Our Sufi order comes from West Africa, from Sheikh Ahmed Bamba, from the holy city of Tuba. It's a West African order. And all of the students and disciples who we initiate, we give them daily practices. Because the daily practice is like charging your cell phone. If you don't charge your cell phone, you can't make a call or even send a text when the battery is empty. If you don't have a daily practice to cultivate divinity, you will become spiritually dead in the West.
Which is what's happening to people right now.
You seen the movie, I Think I See Dead People? What was that, The Sixth Sense?
Yes.
I Think I See Dead People. Man, I know I seen a lot of dead people in America walking around thinking that they're alive. But they're dead. The heart is dead. The mind is dead. They have no conscious state of reality.
Yes, I agree. Wow. To practice, you must be disciplined. And some people do not want to be accountable for the lack of discipline. You know what, though, I think a lot of us we struggle with discipline because we have so much distractions. Like Cheikh Sufi said, you got to get up, you got to go to work. If you don't go to work, how are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to take care of your children? How are you going to feed your family? How you got to pay for light, gas, electricity? So we're distracted. And then when we come home, we have to deal with all this stuff when we come home. So it's like, how are you going to be disciplined when you have all this other stuff to do? What is the discipline fit in for you to do these prayers and these mantras? So it ain't easy.
Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay, because my screen is frozen, so I'm glad that you
can see you're fine. Yeah, I see you scratching your cheek. Don't do anything you ain't got no business doing. Pull that shawl off. It's time, okay? Keep it on there.
I'm glad you let me know because I ain't want to be doing nothing extra, you know.
Especially on that plant medicine, sister girl.
Yes.
Girl, get it together. Like I said, girl, get it together. They probably don't even see you. Your screen is frozen, and next thing
you know, you like, here's the tantra for y'all for the weekend.
Yeah, we're like, oh snap, put the camera on, sister.
Bliss, zoom in. Oh, that a lot of guys is traveling to come see you.
So so outside of we're doing this book, and one of the things I wanted to ask you, because there is a lot of information on Tantra out there. I teach yoga, and I've always wanted to add that to my practice. It is part of my practice, and I'm a little nervous sharing it. So, what line of study would you suggest for those of us that utilize yoga as our love offering on our journey?
Yeah, one of the best books I've ever seen on the true aspects of yoga is by an author named Muwada Ashby. Muwada Ashby has a book called Egyptian Yoga. He has Egyptian Yoga Volume 1 and Volume 2, but I tell you, Egyptian Yoga Volume 1 is enough. I don't even know why they came out with Volume 2. If you read Muwada Ashby's Egyptian Yoga Volume 1, yoga actually means union with the divine. Yoga and Tantra go together. There's something called, there's Yantra, Mantra, and Tantra. All three go together. Yantra is what you're visualizing. Mantra is what you're reciting. And the Tantra is the sexual act of union between the masculine and feminine principles. So for the true aspects of Tantra, you need Yantra, Mantra, and Tantra. All three go together. But in his book, Muwada Ashby explains this clearly and shows how all of these practices came out of ancient Kemet. Egyptian Yoga Volume 1 is enough to get you right. Is that the book? You got the book right there?
Put it up, Janita. Egyptian Yoga,
snap.
The Philosophy of Enlightenment.
Yes, that book is enough to get you right. That book is enough for yoga philosophy.
All
Can I
right.
tell you that when I first started reading this book, I was just like, I knew it. I knew that Black people was the ones that would yoga because I wanted to connect the yoga, but I couldn't really connect to
Mm-hmm.
the whitewashing of yoga. So I took the training, but I knew that I had to find myself, and I just came across this book, and I haven't read all of it, but like
That's
you
it.
said, I read enough of the first pages that I was just like, oh, I'm on some other level. And then you know how you get excited? I started sharing it with some of the our kin folks that don't really, get down with yoga. And even though I was trying to explain to myself, but this is our stuff, they were still on some like, that's white people stuff. So
No,
Oh, to be lying when they say
no. But you know, that's part of our miseducation, you know?
yes. That's so beautiful. Thank you, Sheikh. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you already got the manual in your hand. Volume 1. You read that whole book, you will know the true yoga philosophy from ancient Kemet that went into India and Tibet, but it came from us in Kemet.
yes.
Wow.
The second volume was a little academic. That's probably why I just stay with the first, the first volume. The second
Yeah, volume
volume is
1 is
very
enough. I
academic.
didn't even read volume 2. Volume 1 is enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna get that
Thank
book. I don't
you.
have it, but I'm gonna get it. So I hear you. So I got a
Yeah.
question about what you said about feminine energy. So you said spiritual energy is feminine nature. The soul is feminine. So feminine energy is God. The first God was woman. So do you want to clarify all of
Oh
that
yeah,
right
that's an easy thing. Everybody and their mama know the first god that was worshipped was the black woman. The black woman was the first god. In ancient times, imagine, you didn't have Jesus, you didn't have Muhammad, you didn't have organized religion. As soon as they saw as soon as they saw a baby come from a woman, they said the woman is God.
Mm-hmm.
So she had to be the mother cult. The worship of the divine feminine was the first religion.
Wow.
You were the first God.
And that's what Prophet
It's
Muhammad
not even a
said.
deep concept. But in the Western religions like Islam or Christianity, you don't see that in the forefront. But you go in Tibet and India, you got Shiva, you got Shakti, you got Sri Lakshmi, you got Kali Ma, you got Durga Ma, you got all these divine feminine beings that are representing God as a woman. The woman was the first God. This is not even a deep concept.
There you go. Y'all heard it. Don't get mad at me because I just wanted to ask the question. But that
Oh
was
I
yeah.
good.
agree with you, Sheikh, because even in Islam, they forget because I forget which the
Oh, that's
hadith that I
haram. You can't say that in Islam, brother. You going to hell,
know.
brother. You can't say that in Islam. Astaghfirullah. Ask Allah for forgiveness, brother.
But in the
That's what the Muslims
hadith,
say.
but in the hadith, when the followers of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, they asked if there was not God, who would we pray to? And he says, women.
Yeah,
He
Ooh.
Prophet
didn't
Muhammad said. Prophet Muhammad said that. What did he say? He said, "Heaven is at the feet of your mother."
Yes.
Prophet Muhammad said, "Heaven is at the feet of your mother." People don't know Islam is really a woman's rights movement.
It is. Yes.
Islam is a woman's rights movement, but those fucking Arabs messed it up.
Wow.
Yes.
Excuse my language. Because the Arabs had such a hate for women, they used to bury, if they had a female child, they would bury the baby girl. This is before Islam. The Arabs had such a hate for women, they wanted men children so bad they would bury a child that was a girl. Until Allah revealed a verse in the Quran that said, these baby girls that you buried, they're going to ask you, why was I buried on the day of judgment?
Yes.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
But Islam in its nature, Islam is feminine. Islam is based off, because if we say Islam is submission to the will of Allah, then we know that the act of submission is feminine in nature.
Wow.
Wow.
But we get the false image of Islam from people with Muslim names who didn't know that the first being worshipped was the woman.
There you go. Y'all need to start worshiping the women.
There's something called Yoni Puja. Have you heard of Yoni Puja?
Yes.
Sister Tamara.
Praying to it, honey. Blessing it.
I know some brothers who practice Yoni Puja, and it ain't the same. Let me just, you get with a brother that practices Yoni Puja, shit, if he try to leave, you're gonna be ready to fight.
Pray over it. Pray over it. Yes, absolutely. In your book, you mentioned that 99% of the people don't know what love is, and they think that buying her or him things is love, or some people even think that if they're experiencing some type of abuse in some form, whether it's verbal, mental, emotional, physical abuse, that I've actually heard some people say this, that is, oh, they love me, they're just showing that they love me. So what exactly is love? Because I can tell you right now, I know a lot of people who really don't know what love is. They don't love themselves. They've never truly experienced love. So exactly, like, is love even a word? Because in other languages, you can't find the definition of love in some other languages. So what is this thing that we're supposed to be experiencing so that we can be at the highest point during Tantra?
This is a philosophical question that we say, if you ask 100 people what is love, you'll get 101 different definitions. If you ask 100 people what is love, each person will give you a definition that's different. The essence of love is the essence of God. So when we speak of love, you're really speaking about divinity. In Islam, one of Allah's 99 names is Al-Wadud. One of Allah's 99 names is Al-Wadud, the source of love. Love, true love, is when the love is Allah in me, loving Allah in you. That is true love. It's not based off of anything conditional. Unconditional love is God loving God. And that takes place through two individuals that have this concept of the divine nature of the self.
Wow. Thank you for clarifying that. So you also mentioned that we need to learn tolerance, patience, to avoid power struggles, which I see actually in the Black community between men right now. We need to avoid power struggles, and then also to avoid. But it's hard to avoid these things when everywhere you go in a community, like where you're at now, you're probably not experiencing all of that. But I'll be honest with you, I go to work, sometimes when I go amongst friends, when I go amongst so-called family members, all of these things is like people are impatient, they're not tolerant, there's power struggles everywhere, even in business and everywhere. You know, malicious gossip, all of this stuff, and to be in just like one mind. So, but when you go outside, it's all this other energy. Like you feel like you're under attack. So to be able to come home to relax and get into the mood of Tantra and sensual energy of your lover, and you know, send out all of that beautiful elixir to spread on the brothers. You know, y'all gotta practice with the beads. You gotta get the beads. You gotta say the mantra. You gotta pray more. You gotta show the diet. All of this stuff Cheikh Sufi is saying.
It's a lot of work that needs to be done. You know, this is the first time I really actually talked about Tantra in an open public forum. because a lot of these views are looked down upon by people who practice Islam. And if they hear you talking about Tantra, they'll say, what kind of Sufi Sheikh is he? Why is he talking about Tantra? Well, everybody on the planet Earth is having sex. So you might as well have some type of spiritual principles behind the act, Mr. Muslim. That's what I say.
You're absolutely right.
Because I'm sure if some Muslims see this video, they're going to say, may Allah protect us from that brother Cheikh Sufi talking that bullshit.
Brother, I understand, because there was some sisters that was telling me, I was asking them, oh, why don't you get your nails done? I don't get my nails done very often. But a sister from Turkey, I remember visiting with her for tea, and she said the reason why she didn't have her nails long is so that Shaitan couldn't be in her hand. And I was thinking,
this is a false representation of Islam. I always say, may Allah give the Muslims Islam.
Yes.
Wow. That's great.
I always say it's not Islam, it's the culture. It's men, it's women.
It's men, it's women, it's the people. Yeah.
Oh, and the Sufi order, we don't call it Islam, we call it Islam. They're not practicing Islam, they're practicing Islam. They're practicing some type of spirituality that's influenced by Arab men. That's not Islam, that's Islam.
Wow. I didn't know that. I got another question. So, and I was surprised to see this in the book. You mentioned sentient beings. Like who is this? And then we're the Matrix. So when you say sentient beings, and then we're in the Matrix, are you talking about when we get to the highest level of spirituality, we're actually experiencing beings, other beings, or we?
Okay. In the Buddhist tradition, the Buddha says this is for the enlightenment of all sentient beings. Sentient beings are any beings that have consciousness. So all human beings are sentient beings. So the Buddhist path is for all sentient beings to bring their consciousness to a state of enlightenment. So that's what we're referring to when we say sentient beings. Any being that has a mind that can think is a sentient being. This is a very good question.
Wow, because the first thing I thought about was the Matrix. Because they mentioned sentient beings in the Matrix.
Oh, the Centennials. Now,
wait a minute.
I don't know if you know, well, I'm sure you know The Matrix was not really a movie. It was a documentary about what's going on in life.
Right.
Because 99% of the people are stuck in the Matrix. I'm doing very good. It's good to be here in Paris, France.
There is someone that I follow.
Hi, Burhania from Kazaz. Alhamdulillah. Well, yeah, close it. I'm coming up in the minute, inshallah. I'm in Paris, France, at the Sheikh Bamba house, and we run into a lot of brothers from West Africa who speak Wolof, so we greet them in the Wolof language from Senegal, West Africa.
I was wondering what you were speaking.
You speak Wolof. I thought people are always like, oh, you speak the language of Muslims, but they call it another thing. They don't call it Wolof. What is the other?
Yeah, so in Islam we speak Arabic. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa sallim. We speak Arabic. The Holy Quran was revealed in Arabic. But in West Africa, we learned to speak the Wolof language from the people in Senegal because our Sufi order is African. It's from Africa.
Oh.
Yes, so we do a lot. We do the prayers in Arabic, but if you want to go to the bathroom, you got to ask them in Wolof.
Okay.
Just to make it plain.
Wow. I just have one last question, and then we could close out so Cheikh Sufi can be with his family. So the numbers on this book are 786. Do these numbers mean anything on here? Did you
Yes, yes, yes. In the Sufi orders, we practice Islamic numerology. We practice the science of numbers and letters. So Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. So the prayer Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Oh, and sister, my first teacher was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I came to Islam through the nation of gods and earths. Peace to the gods. I never had no Arab teacher. I came under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the nation of gods and earths. I, self-Lord and Master, will bring disaster to demonic chapters. Peace to the God Guru. So anyway, this I can tell. Well, listen. So 786 is for Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. If you add up all the letters in Arabic of Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, in the Far East it's 786. But if you go in West Africa, it equals 787. So when I wrote the book, I was still practicing the ways of the Far East, which is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim equals 786. This is a very good question.
Wow. Beautiful.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Gianita, do you have any questions? Because I'm just going to show the people the book so they can purchase it. Is there anything you want to say?
This has just been so beautiful. He's in Paris, my faraway home, my home from home, right? I don't know why the universe has me in Mexico, but that's all right. I've been growing. But please enjoy the mosque there in Paris. Is just absolutely. I loved going to the mosque there for prayer.
Oh, you've been to Paris, my sister?
Many times. I always thought that I was going to live there. And my friends are from Senegal. They have a restaurant, and I don't know the name of the restaurant. It's in the African.
Yeah, we drive to they have an African section of Paris. You drive through there, you think you're in West Africa.
Yes. Then my brother there, his name is Brother Sadati. He's a sheikh from Senegal. His name is Brother Sadati. And so when I go to visit, they take care of me. I'm part of their family. But I went there for tea after prayer, the tea house next to the mosque, and I still have my cup here. So I know you're
talking about the Grand Mosque in Paris with the tea house next door? Man, that tea house is unbelievable. It's like a museum. I went to that tea house. It's like 4 rooms going back, 1 room, then another room, then another. We couldn't find a seat until the last room. It's like amazing, that tea house. And it's amazing, man. Yeah, I went in the tea house next to the Grand Mosque in Paris. It's so crowded in there. It's like this place is full of energy.
Especially after Juma prayer, it was really busy. So I
didn't even go after Juma. We went on a Sunday. I can't imagine what it's like on a Friday.
It's beautiful, but it's very crowded. But I had a question. So as when we are connecting and we're doing our mantras, do we have more power? Because English is our language as we use it. However, to get into the flow and the practice and the learning of various languages, because I know that if you say it in the language that it originated, it has more power. So would you be able to suggest some videos or books to practice? I've lost most of my Arabic. However, some of the other Tantra mantras, is there like a book or a video that we could practice so that we can get our tongue?
Yeah, a very powerful practice on YouTube. I have a practice called Explanations of the Butterfly. CheikHSufi on YouTube. Explanations of the Butterfly. I'm explaining a daily practice that will transform you into a spiritual butterfly. Also, for anyone who wants to be initiated into the order and receive personal guidance and personal prayers in Arabic and learn the path of the Sufi in Arabic, contact me via email at Cheikh Sufi on gmail.com. CheikHSufi at gmail.com for anyone who wants to learn the prayers in Arabic, formulas for realization, or take initiation into the Sufi order to go on the path. We welcome you. We welcome you. We welcome you.
Did I get it right? I put the email there. It's checksufi@gmail.com. Did I get it right?
Let me see. Because I think they just called it CheikH. Yeah, that's my email. Yep, that's it. That's it.
And you said on your channel, it's the explanations of the butterfly.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful daily practice, and it would take you some time to master it. But if you get that one practice, it can transform you into 99. All human beings are in the state of a caterpillar. It's normal for the caterpillar to become a butterfly. It's normal for the human being to become God. But in order to become divine, you'll need some practices of the divine. So one thing we teach all of our disciples is this Weird of the Butterfly. It's a litany, a practice of reciting different names of Allah with different numbers to realize Allah is your true self.
Nice. Thank you. I'm gonna definitely check out that video, the butterfly. It's so funny that you mentioned that because I just did a video yesterday with butterflies on it. So
oh, stop joking. Mind detect mind.
Me and Miss Bliss been vibing. I said she been hearing my downloads here after meditation. I said, oh, she better stay out my brain.
Now, we are on our way to Granada, Spain. We are relocating to Granada, Spain from France. So we'll be going to Granada, Spain in a couple of days, looking for a place to organize super retreats in Spain, in Granada. So I burned the boat. I don't plan to come back to America for at least 7 years. We have to do some spirit. Yeah, I hate to say it. I'm leaving on the next plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Harriet Tubman came and this brother then left America. So I don't know when I'll be back, but we want to build a spiritual community in Spain, in Granada, and from Granada, Spain, we will take all of the people to Senegal, West Africa with the Sufis as well.
You ain't never said nothing. I have been looking into Spain as at least to travel there, and the southern part in Granada. Come on through
you
now.
You were looking at Granada too?
I was because I was thinking about my time here in Mexico, and I love Mexico, but I was thinking at the time that, I needed to move, and then the spirit told me to stay, but that was one of the places I do want to travel to, is Granada.
Well, bring your tantric self to Granada, Spain. That's all I can say in public. We have the intention to bring disciples from the West to Spain to teach English. One of the goals is we're going to open a Sufi school in Granada. We'll open a coffee shop and a metaphysical bookstore in Granada. But we also have the intention to open an ESL school in Spain teaching English. And right now I have about 10 disciples in America who are taking the ESL training online to be certified to teach English so that they can move to Granada, Spain.
Stop it. Y'all, you and Janita are going to stop it because she's teaching right now. And English?
I just got my certification for TEFL back in August, and I teach for a Japanese country. I teach English for Japanese.
Stop bullshitting. Stop bullshitting.
This is the connection.
You can't even make this shit up.
Yes, you cannot. You cannot. Y'all was supposed to be on this line together.
Oh, this is unbelievable. Sister, do you know how much money we can make overseas if we own the school?
Baby.
reach out to Sister Bliss. Make sure she get my number because
Yes,
we got at least 10 disciples right now in the ESL training program right now with the intention of getting their certification. Ain't no telling. We're gonna have at least 7 to 10 people in Granada, Spain, with a school in less than 6 months, inshallah. And if you already got your TOEFL and you're already teaching, you can help the new people who haven't taught English yet.
Wow. And she just got her certification too. She's teaching English. This is amazing because I know she's been working hard to get her certification so that she could teach. So she's all, and she do that yoga. So you're getting a double whammy right there, Cheikh Sufi.
This is all I want to say is all praises due to Allah. And Granada is a Sufi city.
Ooh.
It's a part of Moorish Spain. Have you ever heard when the Moors ruled Spain for over 400 years? Granada was the capital of Moorish Spain.
The capital.
Muslims been there forever, ever, ever, and they have Sufi communities in Granada right now.
Wow. Right before I went into the world of French, I had to take 1 year in high school of Spanish because I had to take a class. And my teacher, who wanted to retire there, that's how I started learning about Granada back way long time ago, because he said when he was leaving America, that's where he wanted to retire. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, that is such a beautiful place. But I was still stuck on France. But that's when I started, before Islam, before everything, I started studying Granada.
I've never been to Spain, but my Sufi master from Africa, I asked him, where can we build a Sufi school in Europe? He told me to go to Granada, Spain. My ticket to Granada, Spain is on December 26th, not to be telling all my business.
Wow.
All right. Be safe, my beloved. Be safe. I am just
praises due to Allah. We might mess around.
Beautiful.
We mess around and bring Miss Bliss over there and do a tantric retreat in Granada, Spain. Well, it wouldn't be a real tantra, but we could do something.
We could do something a little like Cheikh Sufi. We don't be wanting to shake nobody up over there. We'll just keep it nice and calm. Family.
All praises due to Allah.
Let me look at my plane tickets. Let me see how much those plane tickets cost.
I'm telling you, you'll have a place when you get there, inshallah. It ain't even that deep. Because we getting ready to rent a 3-bedroom to a 4 or 5-bedroom house for the disciples who are already planning on coming.
Wow.
All right now.
All right now. Family, there is the email right there. Make sure y'all reach out to Cheikh Sufi for guidance. And let me just put this book up for you guys. If you guys are interested, it's 786 Tantra, Sacred Sex, Divine Love. This is a beautiful book. I recommend it. It's a very easy read.
And we got to give a shout out to the most powerful shaman in America, Brother Ankh Rising Sun.
Yes, shout out to the Hank Rising Sun.
Much love to Brother Ankh Rising Sun for bringing us together. Yes. Ankh Rising Sun is the meeting point for me and Sister Bliss.
Yes.
All praises due to Allah for the Ankh Rising Sun, the shaman in New York.
Yes.
Where Brooklyn at? Biggie Smalls is the illest.
Where Brooklyn at? Shout out to Hank Rising Sun, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Y'all want to know about medicine and Tantra, the original forecast and all of that stuff. That's where I was created from. I was birthed there on that energy with Hank Rising Sun.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You know, I started with Grandma with Ankh Rising Sun. He's the first one to take me on the grandma journeys.
Yes. And I have done many journeys with him.
Mm-hmm.
And Gianita,
it's like he's going back in time. Every time he says his age, I was like, you lying.
Yeah, for real. The brother, I remember when his skin was turning green, he was getting into an immortal state about 10 years ago.
Exactly. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings, my sister. Yes. So family, we get ready to close out. I want to say I'm grateful.
We'll do a part 2 later. Are we planning for a part 2? Okay, I just throw it out there for you. That's all right. Go ahead.
A part 2 live from Granada, Spain.
Yep. Hey, why not? Why not? Let's plan for it. I'm all for it. I want to say I'm grateful for you guys. Cheikh Sufi, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Gianita. I'm grateful For all the people in the chat making the comments and everybody watching today, I'm extremely grateful. I hope this live was educational for you and that you learned a lot about Cheikh Sufi and Sufism and Tantra and all those practices and even yoga. So, yes, get the book, you guys, and email.
And thank you for bringing me out of my shell. Most of my disciples in the West don't even know that I practice Tantra. It's not something that we made public. This is the first time, other than Rising Sun shows, a lot of people don't know that I wrote a book on Tantra because I didn't put the name Cheikh Sufi on the book. It says Sufi Ananda.
Yes.
So alhamdulillah for bringing me out to the public. Astaghfirullah. Let the Muslims throw stones. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is our protection.
Ashe, Allah. Have a good day, you guys.
Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.